Hi, my name's Corbett. I am running for the VP Internal and Organizational Development position for the SFSS Executive Committee elections. Sure. If I'm running because this will be the third time I'd serve on board if I'm elected. I'm currently serving as the VP Finance, and I spent a lot this year making a lot of changes and corrections to the SFSS finances and making things a little bit more efficient and work better in the SFS. And I really want to move more into this new role with internal and organizational development to focus on policy work, as well as, again, keep working on making the SFSS processes and systems more easier to use and better for students. Yeah, thank you. There's a couple of big areas I'd like to work on. One is I want to make sure that leaders have a lot more training, not just within the SFS and the board, but also within clubs and student unions. So I want to really focus on making some specialized training workshops and materials for like the president, the treasurer, and communications coordinators in each student union, and ideally most clubs, with them to be able to get up and running within their roles faster would make it so that they can hold more events, run larger events, and do more services for their membership. Additionally, I want to keep working on modernizing SFS. A lot of the things we still use, use a lot of PDF forms, and we use a lot of mixture of software tools. Our website has a lot of changes over the last number of years, and it's all kind of not necessarily meshing very well. A lot of our checks still have to be done. Our reimbursements are done through checks, which you have to mail it out or pick them up, and that's a little slow. I'd like us to move a little bit more into the 21st century. Okay, yeah, so my role won't directly work with budgets, but I can work with the VP Finance and Services, and well as the Member Services Advisory Committee, as we've done this year, to help do things like raising thresholds for clubs now can spend up to $100 of petty cash before having to go for a grant. So that helps a lot for like buying day of events, for items for during the day, for the day of the event. But we also want to look at proving thresholds. So like, right now, maybe we can only reimburse $7 per student for food. Maybe if we can get 8 or 9, we can actually, the grants can be both larger, but also less money has to come out of student pockets. What I noticed over the years was the SFS in the past had raised up the total budgets for clubs, for grants, but then when you actually look at how much got spent each year, it'd be roughly the same. And so there's this big gap of unused money. And that's primarily because of these internal thresholds and rules. A tuition freeze needs to happen. I've been serving this year on the SFE Board of Governors, on S Senate, and I've also been on the SFS. So I get to see things from multiple perspectives. The university finance, the funding system doesn't work very well. It's not sustainable. The way the government funds, both provincial and federal, funds things and prioritizes the funding. My personal opinion is that education should be free. It should be universal, and that because it's an investment in our society, and that we need to work together, keep building student power and student voices to pressure SFU, to pressure provincial and federal governments to to increase funding and eventually make education universal and fully accessible. The benefit of being on the SFS is we do have more direct access to the different administrators, and we can push more for, our voice has higher weight than the average student. Same with when we go to the government and both provincial and federal. But we still need a lot more voices in that fight. If we have thousands of students backing us and contacting SFU and saying we need these changes to happen, we need these fixes, it's going to be more effective. Do they have policies? They've got direction, and I guess they probably had past policies, but it's obviously not really working. It's not being implemented very well. When you look at the Board of Governors, there's only one, currently now there's only one person of color, a woman of color on it, and that's a student elected position. Half that board is appointed by the provincial government. So if their processes are not EDI focused and they're not looking for leaders in the community, that's, you know, if they're not looking for leaders in communities that are generally underserved, then you're not going to have a board of governors that is diverse in all different ways. Same thing is for Senate. Senate is made up of you know, deans and administrators and faculty and students as well. And again, if you look at it, the vast majority of them are white. And that's not going to change until, again, there's massive recruitment and top-down change in an organization to fix these issues. So it's great that they're working towards this, but it's going to take a lot more action and a lot more political will. Yeah, I want to. It's not as heavily in my platform, but it's something that's actually really important to me. Is I think we need a student bill of rights at SFU, and actually in the province. And these are the things that it's like a core document of what the role of students are, the role of university, the role of government, what rights students have to be a student, to be involved in governance at the university. We have a voice in the decisions being made in multiple levels. And I think that would help us and other student societies really have a core vision to push against for when we're doing advocacy work, as opposed to us going back and forth with whatever's happening, what's popular each year to year. That's a lot of work, and it'll probably take multiple years to get done, but I think it's needed. And there's examples of this actually in other universities and across Canada, so it's not something that can't be done. The other things that's not necessarily part of my platform, but is that there is 4 referendum votes coming up the voting period, and that all 4 deal with bylaws. 2 are cleanup type bylaws, and 2 are restrictions. One is a divest from fossil fuels bylaw to make sure that future SFS boards can't just change their investment policies because they want to chase the money. And 2 is a restriction on how much money the SFS can spend on administrative roles, both in total and individually. So I really strongly encourage you all to look at the referendum questions, read them, and vote. Remember to vote on February 16th to 18th for the SFSS executive elections. Please vote for me, Corbett, VP Internal and Organizational Development candidate, as well as for SFE Progressives, so that we together can build student power stronger.